Good morning, my YouTube viewers. Crystal here. I just wanted to make a video because what I wanted to do is I wanted to complete the Kaggle house price competition from beginning to end so you can see how it's done. This is actually one of their get started competition questions, but I didn't find it particularly easy. I don't really find their competition questions easy to do at all. And that's why I haven't completed a lot of their competitions. In addition to that, I think that the competitions where you win prizes, you have to actually be in the United States to win a prize. So I could enter one of those competitions just to learn how to do programming, but it's not going to do me any good to actually enter the competition to win the prize because I'm not actually in the United States at the moment. So that's a bad thing about Kaggle competitions is you can only be in the United States to collect the prize. But of course, if you want to enter the competition just for the sake of entering the competition, then you can always do that as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and go to this competition question, house price, advanced regression techniques. I'm going to go from beginning to end to show you how to enter a competition. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to enter notebooks. And then I'm going to do a new notebook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a lot of copy and pasting, and the reason why is because this isn't that really easy a competition question to do because it has 80, 81 or 82 columns to it, and as a result of that it has a lot of columns to ordinal encode, and it also has a lot of columns to impute. So it's not really that easy to do it. So I've already done it, but I did it on Google Colab, and I'm going to do it now. I'm doing it now on Kaggle with you from the beginning to end, just so you can see how it's done. So we'll just say and I used Ada. I used the Ada Boost Regressor. But it's best if I do a cut and a paste. And the reason why is because it is it's not that short and it's not that easy. It's not that short and it's not that easy. So rather than, us waste time trying to make corrections and things like that. Now, one thing that I haven't done is I haven't tested it on Kaggle. I haven't tested it on Kaggle. So let's just hope that it works when I test it on the Kaggle. So that's one thing that I haven't done. So I've done all this beforehand, and so we do our problem statement. So we've got our problem statement. And now what we're going to do is we're going to import libraries. So we've imported our libraries. Now what we're going to do is we're going to load and read CSV files. So what we'll do is we'll run it. So we've loaded our test file that I've called dftest. Sorry, we loaded our train file that I've called dftrain. And now we're going to load our test file. And you notice there's a difference. If you press the code, then that'll give you a cell to where you can encode it. And then if you press markdown is text. And so you need to do as much markdowns as you can to document what you're doing. So like when you go back later and look at it, you'll remember what you did. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to do a graph of the sales prices. So I'm doing a markdown. Because your sale price is your target variable. So we've used Seaborn for that. Seaborn is a package, a library that's written off of Matplotlib. So now you can see the sale price. You can see all the different prices in one graph. We'll do a little box plot as well, so you can see how the different prices relate, the overall quality relates. So we've done a little box plot, so you can see how the price increases with the overall quality. It's always good to put graphs in your programs because people like to see graphs. So now what we're going to do is we're going to check for any null values. But since there's so many null values in this, I had to actually put some code in there just to check for null values because there's so many to check for. Oh, it's not working, is it? So those are the null values for the df train file. So now we're going to check the null values for the df total file. Sorry, the df test file. That's another reason why I wanted to do cut and paste, because it's difficult for me to speak to you and enter code as well, and so that's why I'm having to copy and paste. But I did do this. I did it last night, but I haven't checked it on Kaggle. So we are doing this from beginning to end, even if I did actually enter the code beforehand. Okay, so now we're going to impute missing values. But what I've done here is I've done something different, because there's like 81 columns. And so I thought, well, I could sit there and impute these 81 columns, and I can sit there and ordinal encode 40 columns. But I thought, well, I wanted to do something to where a blanket. I wanted to do something that was a blanket that's going to do it automatically. So this is what I'm doing. I created a data frame called object df train, df underscore train. And what I've done is I've just included all of the object files in train and put it in a data frame. And then all of the null values I've put not listed in there. So that was an imputation. And then what I've done is I've encoded this data frame. I encoded it with a label encoder because I got some code I got this code from somewhere else on the internet. I mean, it was my idea. It was my idea. But I had to go looking on the internet to find out how I can do it. Because the thing about sklearn is they don't give you lots of training on it. They give you a few examples, but they don't give you lots of examples. So it was my idea. This was my idea. But I had to actually go onto like Stack Overflow to try to figure out how to do it, what I wanted to do. Because if you go onto the sklearn website, they only show you like a few little bits and pieces. They don't show you everything. So you have to go looking for what you want to do, unless you're an expert programmer. If you're an expert programmer, then you won't have to go out looking for what you want to do. But since I'm not an expert programmer, I've only been doing this for about 6 months now. I know a few codes, but certainly not a lot. And so if I want to do something. So now what I've done is I've made a special data frame for the integers, and then I fill all of the null values with 0. Which is not what I had done in the past, but I did it this time. In the past, I had been using mode and median, but I thought about it and I decided not to do that because we don't know what the values are. And if we don't know what the values are, then why are we going to use mode and median? So we're doing exactly the same thing with floats that we did with the object and the integers. So anything that doesn't have anything that has a null value in it, it's just replaced with not listed if it's median, and 0. No, sorry, not listed if it's an object, and 0 if it's an integer or a float. Okay, now what we're doing is we're merging all of these train data frames together to form a data frame called train. So that's all merged. It's all merged on index. And when you merge, you're only allowed to merge 2 data sets at the same time. So that's why I had to do the coding the way I did. Now we're doing with the test set exactly what we did with the train set. Exactly the same thing, except we're just doing it with test. And I've had some instances where people, that it was a bit of a lazy thing to do, but what they would do is they would combine the train and the test set just so they didn't have to do as much typing. But I don't like to do that. I like to keep the train and the test set separately, and you're supposed to as well. You're supposed to keep the train and the test set separately. And then I've heard instances where people would actually test on the training set, and you're not supposed to test on the training set. You're supposed to test on the test set. And then I read something one time where they said people have written research papers and they've trained on the trains, or they predicted on the train set, and you're not supposed to do that. So, and they had to throw the paper out because of what they did. So I prefer to keep the train set and the test set separately, even if you have to do a little bit extra typing. But some people don't. Some people want to take a shortcut, and they want to combine the train set and the test set, but I don't do that. So now we've done all of the test sets. We did on the test we did an object, an integer, and the float, just like we did it with the train set. So now we're going to merge it all together. So now we've merged it all together. So now we've got our test and our train identified. So in the very beginning we had, so now what we're going to do is we're going to check for any more null values. Just to see if there's any more null values after we've done all that. So this was just a way for me to get around having to impute all those null values. So let's try it again. Let's run. Well, something's happened. It says I've got a draft session error. It says no accelerator. Well, that's horrible. So it's terrible, isn't it? It's giving me a draft section error after I've done all of this work. How could it do something like that? Run off. So we'll try it again. We'll try a run haul. So I've never had this before. We can stop session and try it again. Run all. Try it again. So it says draft session starting. So you see that I am doing it from the beginning to end because I've never had a draft session error. This is the first time that I've ever had a draft session error. So even though I've copied and pasted a lot, you can see. Okay, so let's see what we've got now. So yep, we checked for any null values and we've got 0, 0. So the only thing that I'm doing this is I'm copying and pasting, but I did it last night. But you can see I'm doing it live with you. So now what we're going to do is we're going to define our x and y values. Define x, y, and x test. Now we're going to split it up for training and testing using train test split. Okay. And train test split is in sklearn library. And we check the shape of it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put it on a scaler because you have to scale everything. I was reading something that said in logistic regression, you don't have to scale with logistic regression, but you have to scale with just about everything else. Okay. Now we're going to select our models. We're using ADA boosting regressor, and decision tree regressor is the base. And you see how I like put little notes on everything, because like when you go back, you have to know what you're doing, and so you have to document your work. So I tried to use other models last night. Last night I was experimenting with other models, and I was really disappointed because I wanted to try to use a neural network, and I couldn't use the neural network. So now we're doing this ADA boost regressor, so we just have to allow it to work because it's running at the moment. We have to give it a chance to work. An ADA boost regressor does actually take a little bit of time. So we've got 99.9% accuracy when we did that. So now we're going to predict on the validation set. We've got 91.61% accuracy when we predicted on the validation set. And you know, I could have spent more time, you know, trying to get a better score, but what I really wanted to do was just do this from beginning to end on a YouTube video, just so you can see how it's done, and you can practice yourself on using different models to get a higher accuracy. Now we're checking root mean square error, and I didn't get a very good error, but you know, hey ho, I'm just doing it just for this exercise because I wanted to hurry up and get it done. But if you had wanted to, so now we're predicting on our test set. But if you had wanted to, you can experiment with different models and different parameter settings to try to get a higher accuracy and lower error. But this is just an example. So you see we predicted on our test set. And obviously we're making a video out of this, so this is going to be on YouTube. So you can always go back to YouTube and see what I've done. And I'm also going to make a blog post on this as well. So it's going to be a YouTube video and then a blog post. So we're going to prepare our submission. So now we're going to submit our prediction. So we're going to submit our predictions now. So these are our predictions. But what we're going to do is we're going to run it one more time since we've done all this cut and pasting, copy and pasting. And I did it last night, but you can see that it was only because, you know, it would have taken me a really long time to actually type all of this stuff up by hand. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you how to submit a Kaggle prediction from beginning to end. So we're just waiting for it now. So it's worked. So now we save it. We save it and run it. So now what we have to do is we have to do it again. And hope for the best. You know, I've done it. I've done what it wanted me to do. And I hope for the best because yesterday or the day before I did a video on, I did a video. It wasn't on MNIST, it was on another one. And it didn't work. And so because it didn't work, I had to go back. And then because my screen recorder will only record on one screen, you didn't get everything. You didn't get to see me doing everything. So let's just hope for the best. Hope that it works. And then when it works, you know, we may have to when it says view, and when it says view, it may take it to another screen, which I'm not too keen on it taking it to another screen, so we'll just see what happens. And it says save version. Because I want to keep it on the same window, because if I take it off the window, then what's going to happen is you're not going to get to see everything. So that's what I really wanted you to do, see everything I'm doing. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to go back to notebooks. I'm going to go back to your work. That's my work. And it says Ada house price regressors. So that's what I've updated it 2 minutes ago. So let's hope for the best, because what I really want you to do is I want you to be able to see everything that I'm doing. Because I will say Kaggle's not very good about giving instructions. I mean, they have lots of data sets and you can go in and look at other people's notebooks, but there's no guarantee that other people's notebooks work. So this is our submission. So we're going to submit it and hope for the best. Okay. So we're going to submit it. We're going to view the submission. And so now it's actually taking me, and it worked. We got a 0.24514, and that's not my best score. My best score is 0.12889, and that's when I use Cat Boost Transformer. But the problem we have is that you can't see that. Unfortunately, you can't see that, because with this screen recorder I'm using, it only allows you to look on one page at a time. So I didn't get a fantastic score, but I got a score, 0.214. And so, but this was just to give you an example, and then you can try it more. You can try different models and different parameters and see if you can get a better score. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you how to do this from beginning to end. And what I will show you here is when I trained my X, when I trained X, I got a 99.99% accuracy. So that's really good accuracy. But when I predicted on the validation set, I only got a 91.61% accuracy. So, the best thing to do is just to do some more work on it to try to get the best score that you can get. And I have actually, my best score I think was with Cat Boost. But that wasn't the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video was to show you how to do the competition. So now that I've done the video, you know how to do the competition from beginning to end. The only thing that you didn't see is you didn't see the actual score. But what I can do is I can do my best to get you to the actual score and see where. So do my best to get you to the actual score. take you to the leaderboard. And here's the submission, 0.24514, and that definitely is not my best score. My best score was 0.11 or 0.12. So you can keep working on it to try to improve your score. So that concludes it for this presentation. I've taken you through entering Kaggle competition, house price competition from beginning to end. And so you've got the code for it, so you know what to do. It definitely wasn't a winning score, but it was enough to get you on the leaderboard. And after, because you can see this one, 2 people have got winning scores. So it was enough to get you on the leaderboard. So once you get on the leaderboard, you can experiment with this code with different models and different parameter tunings to try to get the best score that you can possibly get. So if you like my video, please like, subscribe, and share. If you want to keep receiving my videos, then please press on the little bell button, and then you will receive a notification every time I make a video. And if you want to support the work I do, I've got my email address to my PayPal account down below. And the reason why is because I don't have enough subscribers, so I can't make any money on this channel unless I ask for donations. So that's why I have to ask for them. So thank you so much for watching this video from beginning to end. If you've got any ideas or comments, then leave them in the comment section down below. I certainly will read them, and I hope you have a very nice day.